Okay, this is Cultural Creative. I have a very good friend and guest with us today, Paul Ripke. Hi, Paul.
What's up? How are you?
I'm very good, my friend. I'm very good. First of all, I've been hunting you down for a little while, so I'm very grateful that you've given me your time today for this conversation.
Sorry for being so bad in answering sometimes. That's not my biggest skill.
No, I totally understand. You're a busy guy, and so you should be because of all of the work that you've done and everything that you've done and are currently doing as well. Paul, just say who you are and currently briefly what you're doing.
Yeah. My name is Paul Ripke, R-I-P-K-E, but sometimes because Ripke, I'm German, and my name is Paul Ripke. That's a very harsh German way to say that. And Americans always say Ripke, and I like that. And so I sometimes use Ripke with a Y, but that's not how my name is spelled. So it is R-I-P-K-E, and I'm 39. I thought about my 40th birthday that's coming up, but I'm 39, and I moved to the States 5 years ago, 4.5 years ago. As you can see, I don't take everything so serious with numbers and stuff. I'm over-exaggerating sometimes. So disclaimer at the start, I'm pushing some numbers. So when I say I'm 100 kilos heavy, I'm 112 kilos heavy for real. So always give 10% off because I'm trying to sell myself. And I have 3 children. I live in Newport Beach in OC, in I think a very nice place to live in. Last half year has been not the prettiest because it shows how stupid Republican this place is and how white this place is. And I didn't know that totally before I moved over here. I would love to have a little bit more diversity, but yeah, complaining on a high level. Newport is still very nice. And I don't know what I'm doing right now as a job, probably influencing, content creating, whatever it is. Personal branding. I'm at a weird place right now regarding jobs and stuff, but I used to be a photographer and a videographer. So I created media for brands and personalities, whatever they needed to tell their story on social media, on press, on media, in books, in whatever. And I started in music with that when I was 20 or 25. I started. Everybody today has that. In my case, it's been like 20 years ago, so I was one of the first who had a rapper, and I was his guy, and I did his video and whatever. Now even like unsuccessful podcasts in LA have Pete. So oh, I'm just firing to group chat. Group chat, I love group chat. Group chat is really cool. And Pete, I was the Pete of rapper guys in Germany. And then I moved to rock bands and did a lot of music stuff because they have concerts, so I did all their content, video and photo, and there's not a lot of people who do both. It's normally either photography or videography, and I'm really not good in one of them, but I do a lot. That's all of my life. I always do a lot to hide my lack of quality, maybe. That I hit good timing with being like a one-man army. You know, I'm bringing a drone. I can fly a drone. I can film. I can edit. I can select music. That's not totally stupid. I can do an Insta story as well as a real photography thing or whatever. And I did that. Once again, very, very much timing luck, especially because what's over, like, I honestly don't think I'm an artist, and I don't think I'm really talented or something. I have one skill in social. I think I'm getting along quite good, and I can be very competitive, and I want to be like, I can step in and know, okay, I want this or that. But at the end, I just had a lot of luck regarding timing, and a lot of luck regarding the people I worked for, because whatever video, photo, whatever I did, if they're playing in front of 20 people, nobody cares about the picture, and could be as bad or as good as it is, or the vice versa. A very good photo of an irrelevant artist nobody sees is not as successful as a bad photo of a very relevant artist. And I had the luck, like my music guys blew up. I started with them, like literally it's the stupid story. I started with them. That's Carlos in the back. He's walking into the live stream.
Hi, Carlos.
Hey, Carlos. So we had The first concert was like 18 spectators, German rapper. I had to pay the bar people to get in front so I can take one picture of them, that it looks crowded. And 7 years later, the last film we did together was his single, the biggest single rap concert in German history, 37,000 people, and like a legit stadium show of a single rapper, which nobody else so far did in Germany. And I did a film about it with 18 ARRI Alexas and stuff like that. And so we tried to, like, that's not because I'm so good. It's been because he rose. His career took off, and I was like, I was the dwarf sitting on the giant's shoulders, and then the story repeated a couple of times. So I went into soccer, worked a lot with soccer people. German national team became world champion. I was in the 1 year I'm following them. I went into Formula One. Nico Rosberg becomes world champion. In the first year I worked with him, then I switched to Lewis Hamilton, and he becomes world champion. And then, so I got very, very, very lucky. And trust me, I have really nothing to do with the music. I have nothing to do with the way they play soccer, and I have nothing to do with the way they drive cars around circles. So I just got lucky. You got to get lucky sometimes.
I want to unpack that a little bit, Paul. And the reason why I want to unpack that a little bit is because, let me tell you why. I don't believe in luck. I believe that everything is manifested through the universe, whether you do or don't. And what I've heard you say a lot of times is luck. But if I mirror alongside your career the breadth or the depth of content that you've created and the work you've worked on, alongside everything you've just explained with the German rap artist, the musician, then working with the German national football team, which, by the way, in the US isn't really a big deal, but in Europe and the rest of the world, that at that point in time, 2014, when they became the World Cup champions, that was a huge, huge deal. And for you to be a part of that, to then move on to Formula One racing, which is one of the biggest sports in the world, certainly the biggest motorsport in the world, and to be working with Nico Rosberg, who went on to become world champion, then Lewis Hamilton, who now, I mean, he's a household name now around the world. I don't believe that's luck. I believe that the work you did that led you all the way through that. And I've seen your work, and I can give my own opinion on your work, which I love, I believe is fantastic. And I know you're a very humble guy. Do you believe much in the way of how the universe works and where you were planted at those certain points in time?
No. To be fair, no. It's not universe. It's not. There is a little bit. There's one thing I truly believe. It's a stupid quote. So imagine it being a wall tattoo or something. But I like that saying. Like, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. That's probably what happened in my life, but also the tiny bit of skill of going in the right directions is also something that I'm aware of, I think. But honestly, I've at least I did a lot of very unsuccessful stuff as well, and nobody sees that. Like it's been, I'm born in a time, or I'm working in a time where the one thing that works shines very bright, and the 9 things that don't work nobody even sees. Like it's like Instagram main feed kind of, the algorithm throws it away if it's not a good picture, and nobody is hating on it. And I realized that, to be fair, quite early in my photography career, when I always say, if you start producing content for people or for algorithms and not for other photographers or for the artist, for example, then it clicks a little bit. Because if you show a picture to 100 people, nobody cares if it's maybe out of focus or the post-production is different or whatever. It should be what's on that picture that decides it, or on that video, or which story tells. And that's something a lot of people forget. And I'm getting daily requests of people who ask me, can you have a look at my pictures? And I'm always responding. They don't care. Like, it's not my opinion about your pictures should not influence your photography. Like, honestly, you should not listen to other creators or something. You should try to find out what people like, and because it's a people business. You have to create media that a lot of people that don't create media still like, and not create for the creator. So, but at the end, I'm humble I'm trying to be humble because, but I really also am. It is really like, it is always, a lot of things work in my life, but it's always at least another guy, another person, another band, another team, another whatever. I tried a lot of things by myself, only by myself. They normally don't work out that good. So I really know that it's the biggest part is the other part. And that's something I think I was very, very lucky, once again lucky, but the starting to create stuff, you learn, okay, Lewis Hamilton is the coolest guy. He looks good. If he's standing in front of a private jet with 7 supercars, an iPhone picture you take, I don't know about your picture qualities, but it's gonna look sick. It doesn't need my photography skills or something to be good. And that's something I think as content creator, if you don't take yourself serious, you stay humble. And that's something, there are some people who think, okay, Justin Bieber posted my picture and now it got 17 million likes. Yes, those likes have nothing to do with your picture. It's only Justin Bieber who gets 17 million likes and not your photography in that. And that's something I was always aware of. And I failed a lot of times with my, there's been times where I thought, I'm D, firing again against D. D is a friend of us, and he tried to be a DJ, right? Then he tried to be an artist, and I love D, and I see myself in there. And then you fail doing that. Like I tried my own podcast, I tried this and that, and it all failed. And that kind of also taught me that not everything is because of me, it's a lot because of other people. And it's something you just need to figure out at one point that you if you know that. And to be fair, Formula One is a real not cool sport. I stepped in there and I was like, and that's been 4 years ago, and I was the first one, I think, in there doing photo and video on the same amount. And like every other sport, imagine snowboarding, Red Bull, whatever, they would have laughed at me stepping in there. Then they say like, yeah, sure, go home with your stuff. In Formula One, I was the messias. Like they thought there's a guy who can do photo and video. So I don't know. There's a theory in Germany, like it's very like if you're standing in a dark surrounding, it's very easy to shine, So I always had a little bit, and Formula One is a dark surrounding, or was a dark surrounding when I stepped in there. They were 50 plus, their audience, very old audience, not Instagrammable. It was forbidden to Insta story when I started, and a year later they allowed it because they realized they switched the ownership. Americans stepped in, and so I got once again I didn't know anything about this, but yes. And coming to today, like today, I don't know what I'm doing right now. I'm saying exactly the opposite of what I said the last 10 minutes. But I stepped out of Formula One. I had a contract for this year, for example, and I was not happy last year. There was some sort of, and honestly, I'm not a passionate photographer and videographer at this point of my life. Like if I have free time, I want to do everything but taking pictures. Like I don't care anymore. I've done it 15 years. I was very hungry. I wanted to take the best picture of Lewis Hamilton. I wanted to do that differently, And I felt that hunger went a little bit away. And that was the moment, and that was quite a hard decision because I had a list and I stepped out the mornings of where I woke up happy and hungry. And on the other side, the moments where I said like, oh, not sure what I should do today. Once again, it's Friday, and I'm trying to take some pictures, and nobody cares. And the no list was way longer than the yes list, and so I went to them. I told them if they let me get out of the contract for this year, which was very weird. It was like I was at a good point at that moment. Like I'm like it's been a very, very good contract. I'm only working 12 weeks in a year, and I'm getting paid a big amount of money, and it's worldwide traveling, business class everywhere. So it's a real good, cool job. It's relevant. You're working with the guy who wins and everything. So nobody really understood it, and they didn't really at the beginning, but they respected it. Lewis as well, and the team people, they respected that I came forward and said something's wrong. I don't feel right. I think somebody else should do that job. And now, and then COVID hits. Like my job was getting people close to what I see at the end. You know, like I always had one lens. It was always wide angle. So all my photography is as close as it gets to the object, to the guy, to the person that wins, to the emotions, to the raw stuff. That job doesn't exist in this year because you need to have social distance. There is no closeness anymore. There is no stupid goofing around, what I did a lot. There is no authentic, not PR controlled, whatever. Everything stepped up 7 times. So this year would have been a disaster for me. Even like, I don't know if I would have even been allowed at the track, and then the contract doesn't mean a thing as well. So that is pure luck at the end. Like I didn't know COVID was hitting, and I didn't know, but I did try to, and that's probably the one rule I really, really, really try to follow, is acting before you need to react. It's stupid, but it works. Like as long as you act and you're actively deciding, it feels very different. At least for me, I'm maybe stupid enough to then believe. Like I never questioned a single thing I did in my past in business. Like I don't have that in my mind because I'm deciding fast. I'm going forward fast. I'm saying no to a lot of things that is maybe like missing out is a very, very bad, you know, like that's a feeling I have a lot. But whenever I see it, I say that can't be the thing why you do it, because you think you could miss out. It should be the decision, the reason should be you want to do it and you fully feel it and you really want to go in there. And that's something that the older I get, the more I learn that I need to be hungry. I need to be psyched about it. I need to love the stuff I take pictures of. And if I don't, my quality is really, and that's coming back to the beginning, I'm really not an artist. I'm really not a very talented person. I'm a very hungry person. If I love something, then I can be passionate about it, and then I can I think, transport some of those emotions. But if that's gone, it's very, very bad. My non-really enthusiastic pictures are really, really bad.
Well, I think there's several things you said, Paul, that really struck home. There was the first thing that you said was that you had some sort of an intuition that led you in the direction which was the right direction to go. And then you just alluded to towards the end of what you said about really, if you don't feel it intuitively, if you don't feel it inside, if you don't feel it in your gut, if you don't have the love and passion for what it is that you do, everything that you step forward into and do is going to be below par of what you're really capable of doing. Okay. And I think that seems to be very prevalent in most of the work that you've succeeded in doing. I think I'm right in saying that. And to hear that you would step out of a contract, regardless of what's happened this year, to hear that you would step out of a contract, as you explained, this incredible traveling around the world job with high flying, doing what you want essentially from art with creative and video and photography, and with these world champions and the high level of the performance of the sport. To have that intuition, to know inside deeply that something isn't right, to walk away from that, I mean, that's very commendable. And I think that must align with most of what you've done successfully.
Yeah, but still, it doesn't, like, there's two things. At one, it's a fine, like, there's also the opposite of it. Like it's very easy to walk away. It's very easy to not keep running. It's very easy to, you know, like if you, the first hit, if that's saying so I had to find out if it's a short term kind of I'm frustrated or whatever, or if it's a real problem, that's where I'm struggling sometimes. So it's not always the right thing. If you don't love it, don't do it. It's sometimes also get your ass up and just keep doing it. And then, but so for me, it was like finish this year and then get a decision and then time it right for the other partner to have them find somebody. Like I told them 3 months ahead of the end of the season. So it was not and it was like, it was the fairest, very, very good kind of separation. And that's something I think I grew up, my mother, and I've just been up in San Francisco with one of the inventors of mediation. So my mother is like the German first person to teach mediation in Germany. So she does mediation as well as she teaches it. And the guy who invented it is Gary Friedman, and I lived with him in San Francisco for a year when I was 18. I just met him, and it's always crazy impressive how it's like a mixture between psychologic things as well as there's like, my mother was a divorce lawyer, and whenever somebody came to her, the conflict got bigger at the end. Like, and they like at the end, divorce is sketchy, but in my case, we all want the same. We want good content. Like at the end, the team wants the same as I, and so they were open. If I'm not happy, then they're also not happy. They don't want me to fulfill my contract no matter what, because I said yes to it, because I signed it, and that helped me. Like I'm, for the last 10 years that I do contracts. I have to sign contracts, but I also asked for a lot of changes in contracts because I truly morally thought they should be different, or I should step out, or they should step out, or we should end, or we should start. It's always a very hard thing to say, and it's not easy to do that. But it got me a long way to find out those kind of mediation. You know, like there's other solutions than the law solution, and there's other solutions than the contract solutions. There's a solution. I mean that divorce example is there's a piano, a grand piano, and a couch, and the couch is worth 10,000 and the piano is worth 100,000, but the husband plays piano and the wife wants a couch. And then normally they could look at each other in the eye and say, okay, take the couch, you take the piano, bye. But if they go to a lawyer, somebody tells them, oh, you get the couch, but the piano is worth 100,000. All of a sudden you think, oh, I want part of that piano, and that's my right, and that's very wrong at the end, because the solution gets worse, because all of a sudden you're telling the guy, I want part of the piano, and he says, what the hell? You never wanted any piano in your life, and then things, but my right is, and then they heat up, and then you have a proper fight all of a sudden, and the solution is far, far, far away. So coming back to intuition or whatever, yes, I'm trying to find situations, and that's probably what sums it up. I'm trying. I want it to be useful when I'm coming to jobs or to whatever, and I didn't felt very useful at one point. I felt like whoever could come there. I didn't felt, and it also was because the first year I did new stuff. I did stuff nobody has ever seen. I did personal crazy stories, but then everybody else catched up, and new drivers, young drivers came in there, and I was sitting there. There's a 20-year-old Lando Norris. He has a 24-year-old video guy. They do even a better job than I do, and I'm sitting there and saying, okay, I need to step away from that, and I also need to step away from photography and videography, because that's something I don't really like anymore. And so far, and you're right about that, so far, whenever the brave decision, the not easy decision in my life always paid off. Like I've started a clothing brand, which is stupid out of a stupid joke, but it's doing very, very, very well because I put power in it, and I take care of it. Like I have a German podcast that we're marketing, we're advertising it in Germany, and it's doing very, very well. And both of these things, I mean, 9 out of 10 photographers didn't had a job in the last 5 months, I guess. And I'm sitting there, I can't even have the conversation with them because I feel so bad that my business is double as good as it was last year, because these two things are the first scalable things I ever learned in my life. Like advertising is scalable as well as clothing is scalable. Before, I was never scalable. I was one of my, and I'm bragging again. I'm cocky. That I don't like that about me. But one of my proudest things, one of my biggest, like the guy that really impresses me a lot was Niki Lauda, the driver. There's a film for the Americans. It's called Rush. That's about him. But he's a true legend, and I worked with him very, very close, and we got along very nice because he is also a little bit outlaw. I mean, I was in Formula One with only short. I was only wearing shorts, always beardy. Like I looked like a homeless person in there, basically, with everybody else like full on, high end. Oh, where's my Maserati? It's been like a slick yacht kind of surrounding, and I was totally the wrong guy there, but that. I did like that, and Nicky liked that too, and Nicky always introduced me whenever, and he liked me, and he took me, and we went anywhere, and he always said like, oh, hey, this is Paul, he's the worst dressed and best paid photographer in Formula One history, and I was very, very proud of that, to achieve that, to be introduced by him. I really liked that a lot. But saying I was paid very, very well, but photography has a limit. Like there might be skyrocket superstars, but that's real superstars. If you're Peter Lindbergh or whatever, but like I'm far away from that. So I reached my peak already. I think I was overpaid at some moments where I said like this is not what I'm worth, and to step away out of that, and now being able to do different stuff is also kind of nice. Yeah. I'm sleeping very well right now, and a lot of people aren't. And I'm also not, and that's coming back to the universe. That's not because I do stuff better and because they are stupid or something. It's also a big portion of it is just me being very, very lucky.
I do think, though, the comment that you made of what Niki Lauda would say when he introduces you to people is that I think that's something that I picked up on very early when we'd first met, or I'd first watched any of your content, is that you are a very genuine person and extremely authentic. And I think that came through probably in most of your career of what you explained earlier. And I think that first and foremost, you're essentially selling yourself in most of the job roles you've been doing. And you probably were being chosen for those roles ahead of other people that may have been better experienced than what you were. But because of your attitude, how transparent you were, and everything else, I think that probably, now I'm hearing you say it, it makes complete sense.
Totally. I once thought people remember me. It's because I'm big, because I'm fat, because I'm German, because I try to be funny or not, because I don't care how I look like, because I take pictures, they remember. That's also something. I mean, a lot of people remember me because they kind of remember that picture I took for them. So I've been with them, the German national team. Every single world champion of 2014 knows who I am. That's not because I'm the coolest guy in the world. That's because I took pictures of their highlight of their life. So sure, they remember that. They with some of them I worked 2 years before at a whatever Mercedes-Benz shoot, like an advertising shoot. None of them ever remembered me after that. Like the occasion is happening, and I'm an occasion parasite, 100%. So I'm quite like I have some sort of intuition maybe into that. But yes, you need to be remembered either for the stuff you do or as well for the presence you have. And I've a lot of people hate me, some like me, but it's not like Paul who after I was anywhere. So people do know I was there at least, and that's something I didn't like at one point in my life when I was 18, 19, 20. It was like sketchy, but or even younger. I was like 14, 15, 16, I think, and then I had a very weird thing when I was 14, 15. I liked to make out with girls that had a boyfriend. I just liked to win. I liked to possess or something, which is stupid. It's disrespectful. The boyfriend, and I did learn that, but still, whoever I met said, "Oh, I'm never gonna make out with you. You made out with Lena." But to realize that it's very easier to turn people who have a negative thought of you into a positive thing teach me quite a lot, to be fair. And I think I stopped at 20 to be liked by everybody. I just try to some love me, some not love me, some like me, and a lot of people don't like me, but that's how life is, and it's okay like that. And I think this way, at least, that combined the remembering part and probably the second rip key to success. I want to write like a DJ Khaled kind of book, my 7 rip keys to success. not happening.
I was just going to ask you that when the book is going to come, because I do think that you could probably, I'd read it for sure. Going back to, I'm glad you learned at the early age to stop hitting on other guys' girlfriends and stuff. But I know that obviously led into something that listening to you speak, I think that probably, well, it's more of a question, right? I struggle with this a lot myself. We're kind of shaded by how society leads us to be. And what you're essentially talking about is being your true, authentic self. Right. And I don't mean that from a disrespectful place. It's not like you're saying, I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks of me, but you are coming from an authentic place and you realize that and you let that shine. Whereas a lot of people, in fact, most people I know, hide that away. And that's what I struggle with a lot. Yeah. I will catch myself questioning things I do, whereas I should let it go and be more authentic to who I am and what I love and what I want to do.
There's an easy answer. What I do, I just do so much stuff. I don't even have the time to question what I did before, So that's, if you start that and then at one point it's enough. But it's for sure, like, to be honest, what you just used is what every brand, whoever is doing whatever in the last 10 years, you can sum it up with authentic storytelling. That's the only thing everybody wants. And that's the only thing that works. And you can sum up, like, under that, every successful career is exactly what it is. You can hate Logan Paul, but it's authentic storytelling. Drake is whoever is out there, it is authentic storytelling that works. And I got lucky to do that quite early. And 10 years ahead, like before, it was not the thing that everybody liked. So, and that's still something that I'm maybe underplaying it, but timing is the biggest issue of everything, and that's non-plannable. And everybody, we can listen to as many. I love Dramas podcast and short story long. It's insanely good, and you can learn so much. But there's also an end of learning, because whoever did, he was successful because his timing was right, and that timing is never to be redone. So you have to, and that's where I think one of the most important things, pioneer. Like, you need to be encouraged to do things for the first time, and that's something I did a couple of things really 10 times for the first time, and I still try to do things for the first time, at least for myself, and that kind of, you will fail, but also you will succeed. And then the success is bigger if people do remember you more, if they see something like that for the first time. They do remember the first time they realize, he's doing a different style of video. He's flying a drone. Whatever it is, they will remember. And that's something you can't repeat. You can't do, that's the 17 secrets of an Instagram following, whatever the hell. No, you need to do stuff for the first time. You need to be a pioneer, and at least once or twice. Without that, there's no way of succeeding, I personally think. But it's just, it's weird to go here and there. And for me, it's also quite weird to and then I truly, honestly mean that what happened to me is impossible to repeat within, like if you now would be me with the age of 24, impossible to do those 7 steps, and then it happens. And that's probably right for a lot of things. And we should not forget that timing is the biggest full-on uncontrollable part of success at the end, I think.
So, yeah, I completely agree with you, Paul. But what I was thinking as you were saying that is that intuition mixed with timing, but then also listening, being open and aware and listening to any indication that is provided to you to keep on that path, to keep on that authentic path of self, of where you believe in yourself, of where you can go with what you're doing. Because what I find a lot is with all of the white noise, it's very easy to not see the signals. And I read a quote yesterday from a very well-known poet who was writing lyrics for rap songs, then turned into a poet, now is a really renowned spoken poet in the US. And somebody asked him, how come he's so successful when at the time he started, there were so many other poets doing a similar thing? And he just said that he didn't give up. He carried on. And then what happened is the other poets just dropped off. They stopped being consistent and authentic to what they were doing. And he shone and went through it.
Totally. 100% right. Yeah.
So I think that, you know, thinking about your career, I'm excited to know really what you're working on now, because I know and can foresee that in the very near future, or the future coming, that you will be as successful as you were before with what you were doing, but it'll be something completely different. In my gut, I can feel that.
So right now it's Shopify. You can sum it up. It's insane. I love Shopify. Shopify is my most like moving product, producing product. That's something I did books already. Like I did 13 photo books, and I always signed them and produced them, and we sold like a lot of books in Germany. But to be able to do that for a wider audience, not a photo book audience, like really to have a product a 70-year-old as well as a 15-year-old can at least understand what I'm doing and could possibly buy it is very, very interesting. So I think I spent the last 4 months on Shopify combined with Facebook and Insta ads, targeted ads. That's something which is as far away as it gets from creating at the end, but it is for me to work that out and to find a solution to it, to kind of get sales at one point is something that's of a lot of interest for me. And the second thing, I'm mainly working on our German podcast, which we advertise, and you have to who am I telling that? You have to create an advertisable product as well, if it's the content we're talking about, as well as the structure we recorded or the timing, how we release it and everything. So that's a lot of planning work. And right now it's kind of like I'm not totally sure how. So I got into cycling, for example. And the beauty of where I am, and it's not only the Insta following I have, it's the overall following. So I have a certain amount of people that know who I am and trust my products as well. Like it's probably 800 people. It's those theories of 1,000 fans that's kind of hitting exactly what I have. And they're also very local. It's Germans at the end. Like there's tons of people in the States that may have known once of me, but they're not really, like you can't count on them. In Germany, I have people who know of me for now 13 years, 14 years, and they hear every month they're in contact with me in some sort of weird way, whatever it is. So they are really reliable. I can count on them. And these people I can take to whatever and wherever I want to go to. So cycling is the uncoolest sport you could ever think of, I guess. Like it's there's this word of middle-aged man in lycra. It's summing up everything that's uncool about cycling. But I got into it. I liked it. I really loved it. I just went up to San Francisco from Newport Beach to Muir Beach, to where that guy of mediation lived and where I lived. So I wanted to do personal tours, 6 days and 80 to 100 miles each day. And people follow me on that path. And then we do cycling jerseys and they start cycling, and I can do a collab with a German cycle brand. And all of a sudden, I think I can do some income out of whatever and wherever I go. And if I keep doing that, and then my gut tells me better, and that's maybe what you called authentic or something, and I'm really, and that's also what's unauthentic. And that whole, like when I did a cookbook, for example. I was vegan last year, and I liked it, and I summed up whatever I cooked. Sold a lot of, like, a small magazine. We sold like 15,000 copies in Germany, and it was very successful. So I thought, I'm a cook now, and then I did another one. It wasn't that successful, but now I don't really passionately cook anymore, and it's not my, like, it's I have to edit again, I have to whatever. So I'm thinking about stopping it, and but there is an amount of, like, people that are watching and following and everything, so it's hard to stop. It's like that's that missing out I was talking about. So that's something I didn't decide it yet. I tried to decide it on the bike ride, exactly that. It's called Rip Kitchen. I'm struggling with it. It's not going the way it is. It's YouTube. I tried to do some YouTube stuff. It's not going out. And then you start getting the easy excuse. My easy excuse is also, I had a full on my wall. I had like 17 content ideas for the first 3 months of 2020 for YouTube. So I wanted to go there, and I liked the plan. Couldn't do it because of COVID. And all of a sudden I think, YouTube is not really working out because of COVID. It's bullshit. It's not working out because of me. I fail at it. And that's something which is hard to admit. And I'm still not sure if I'm dropping it, or if I just need to keep going and need to be more efficient, more German, more working in it, or if it's really not fitting. That's something I don't know. And whatever I start, I don't know if it's fitting and if it's working out and all this. But the only thing, and that's something, probably the one small thing, I don't enjoy crazy much cooking right now. And that's where it gets unauthentic, when I'm doing cooking. So I need to wait till I'm having fun at it, and because cycling is now my thing. And I think people feel that. And it's a thing, authenticity is not 78% authentic. I had one thing, it's a stupid story, but it's a true story. So I did for a car manufacturer. They invited me they had like a big launch of a car, and then every single car sales house, I don't know what's it called, like a car shop worldwide, went to Palm Springs, and they invited worldwide everybody there. And then they released the new advertising video of a photographer in Amsterdam, and he loves that car, and he loves Leica, and he loves you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's that kind of thing. And then the marketing guy is standing there, and we tested it. It's been 14 days. Every day I had to tell exactly the same story of 15 minutes to like at least 800 people in total. And it's been about authenticity, like however you say that word. It's a hard word to say for me as a German. So how to be authentic. And their whole campaign was like every other campaign in the last 4 years. It's authentic storytelling. And we want the real car lover of our brand, and not a made up guy we give money to. We need the real people. We need it real. So we tested it the day before, like a run through kind of thing. So I was standing there, everything all right. And then they said, just come the way you are. And I arrived there wearing Birkenstocks and my shorts, and I'm standing there beardy as I am. And then I take over. I had a presentation in 15 minutes. So I can fire out some facts and try to tell them, and I did some jokes about me as well, saying like, look at me. I am not what Formula One or whatever, but that's what other. And after that, the marketing manager, chief of that brand, said, we need to talk a little bit. And he said, it's a little sketchy, but could you maybe wear real shoes and long trousers? And I'm like, why? And he said, it's we all wear long trousers, and it's a social thing, and won't be done. And I said, I'm a prostitute. You give me money, I do whatever you tell me to. But if you believe a single second of what you say the 15 minutes before I come on stage, that is exactly what, like, then you're then you're lying at the end. Because if you
being
don't let me
inauthentic,
be who I am there, then nobody will listen. And that's exactly where people stop listening. As well on Insta, as well normal people, they don't listen if they think it's a PR kind of washed perfect thing and it's two story writers. They want to see the true thing, and they may be inspired, maybe, and also very maybe, if there's one or two people. And I told him that, and I said, but I do whatever you want me to. I'm doing whatever. And then he said, let me think about it. And 2 hours later, he called me and said, Paul, and that's something I'm quite good in telling people my honest opinion. That's the only thing I do. I tell Lewis Hamilton if I think that is not whatever. And a lot of people are not brave enough to tell your opinion. They kind of, so I pushed myself the last 10 years a lot to at least be honest with the people. So he said, thank you very much to say that. And it's very interesting because you start in a car brand, and we have agencies and everybody talks. And so you're kind of losing the outside view. So I think you're right. So, but can I ask you to wear real shoes, but you can keep the shorts? I said, like, bro, a little authentic is 75% authentic. That's even worse. Like then I wear your long trousers. That's like, and that's, a lot of people don't understand what that means. It comes with the price of authentic. Like it comes with, if you invite the beardy guy, there will be a beardy guy. Surprise. If you, So don't complain if you invite the I don't know, Ozzy Osbourne or something, and then he throws bottles at the wall. That's what he's about. And there's nothing to complain there. And that's something kind of weird in these times to find the right or wrong way. But I personally, and 10 years ago, I did advertising campaigns with 700 people. I'm not I'm not touching anything, and I'm stepping away in progress is very fast. If I see like a lot of people with different opinions try to put themselves into it, and the stuff gets gray, can we? I can't provide any. Then I'm of no help, because you need to. Authentic also means not an opinion combined by 8 people. It can't be a group opinion. Can't be authentic at the end.
So I want to know, Paul, what happened in the end of the campaign?
Of the car thing.
You wore long pants and shoes, or you walked away?
No, I did 15 days of every day the same thing, long pants and shoes, and I told him like 700 times, and but it is something there's a lot of battles you don't need to take. I think, like I said, I do whatever you want. At the end, we are all prostitutes. I'm for real. Like if people give me money for showing up on that day, I'm gonna pretty much do what they want me to do.
But the way you say that, then there's always going to be a reason why they want you there. There's always a reason why they want you to do whatever it is, shoot whatever it is. And I think that, again, you're being humble. I wouldn't forget that, And something that I want to know and ask you, Paul, is that for somebody who's listening to this or watching this, they might think, well, that's easy enough for you to say. Maybe people might make judgments of you. Oh, well, he's got money in the bank. He doesn't have to worry about paying the bills, et cetera, et cetera. And it's a fine balance. It's a fine line to walk as an entrepreneur or as a freelancer in whatever you do, to stay true to your worth and what you believe are your values versus stepping off that. And, how have you found that balance?
But it's two sides at the end. And that's what's interesting right now, for me at least. One side is the creator who creates something for somebody else, who gets paid the service that you provide. It's very hard to tell them what you just said at the end. There's a reason for them to do that, but still, you need to also deliver. Like the excuse part is very, very easy. It's very easy to say, yeah, but you wanted it that way. Yeah, but the weather was bad. Yeah, but if, yeah, no. Forget about the if, just deliver. And the other side is the same. Like me when I'm doing the clothing, for example, I am doing exactly that. I'm telling people, I just did it this morning, saying, here's the amount, here's the budget, come around with pictures that blow me away. And people are really struggling with that. They say, okay, yeah, I'm going to do, but what do you want? I said, I'm not telling you what I want. Like I want you to blow me away. And that's, at least in my life, a lot of people are failing with that. Then they talk a lot. They say, I really want to give 110%. I really wanted to blow you away. Then just do. It's very, very easy. And that's something which is opposite of what I say. I had a couple of pictures. I think I had a couple of videos. I shot 150 music videos in Germany. I won a couple of prizes with it and whatever. Like, there is some quality in the stuff I did, which was surprising to the people. And some maybe also remember it because it was something new, something they haven't seen before, something they surprised them. And that's something you need to be aware. And that's nobody. And to be fair, it's very, very easy if you do a photo shoot and you meet and the weather gets bad and whatever, then everybody's agreeing on the excuses. The client is there, everybody's there and saying, but it's really good for what the circumstances were. But you're the one losing the job if the photos, the videos or whatever, the product is 70%. So you need to provide 100%, and it's very, very easy to get excused. So there's a big and I'm seeing so many people telling me this is my passion. I'm a passionate photographer. I'm a passionate videographer. Yeah, but that's exactly what the definition of passion is. If you really are if you do. It's very easy. Once again, Lewis Hamilton in front of his private jet, everybody can fulfill his passion of. It's not that easy to do in gray weather of Finland, where you only have half an hour and it's snowing and still trying, and you're struggling, but you still need to provide at least a little bit of quality, and that's where passion gets shown, and not talk, just show, and that's something. Yeah, that's the beauty. My brother. He's a researcher. He's way, way more clever than me, Professor Doctor in Harvard and in Berlin. He's researching in genetics, psychological genetics. But he can't show his work. I can show his work, my work. Like I can show you a picture. I can show you a video. I can say, this is what I do. I can show the clothing. I can send you to the podcast, whatever. You see what I do. This also means you see what I do. So you can judge that. And I need to be judged by that. I need to provide a couple of things that are of quality. And that's the beauty and the beast of that kind of thing that we're doing. You see very fast if a picture is not good. And then you can talk 500 times about excuses. It doesn't matter. The picture is shit. And that's what Instagram is about at the end. You're not, it's not about talking a picture into how good it is. It needs to be good. And that's something. Sometimes you need to invest more as well. Like I see a lot of people putting out of cam stuff and, I've had the best shoot ever here and we had this and this looks great and here. And then the final result, the picture, why you did it, is not as good as the behind the scenes. That's the worst. Then you're done. You're not going to be hired again because the final result needs to be the blow away thing, and you maybe need to invest. And I did invest a lot in my youth when I was 24, 25. I did a 3-year project at a TV studio, a talk show, like a Jimmy Kimmel kind of thing. So, and I got to know the host, and I asked him, can I take a portrait of every single guy that's a guest at you? So it's high-level German celebrities. And I did that 3 years without telling anybody, and 3 years is long. Every week, I was standing there every Monday evening at 10 o'clock after a full day of work. I went there, I took pictures, and I saved it to have a book after 3 years. And a lot of people, where are these pictures coming from? When did you take a picture of Justin Bieber? What the hell? Huh? Where did that happen? It's been investing. And you need to invest you need to think long-term in some things, because short-term is sometimes too short. But once again, there is no right or wrong, or that's the 7 steps or whatever.
Well,
just be brave.
What you just said then, Paul, I think really encapsulates a lot of the work that you've done. Everything you just said about taking the photo every day, every night after work for 3 years. Yeah. And people don't see that from the outside. You're putting the work in yourself for yourself. That's truly authentic, and then that shines through. You're learning yourself, you're getting better, you're getting better. So when people see that's always the same thing, right? People will see a rapper blow up all of a sudden, or whatever, somebody blows up really quickly, and nobody actually sees all of the work that gets put in behind the scenes for years and years before. They just see the small part of the. But there's something that I really want to go back really quickly, Paul. Before we went live, you said to me, I asked you what you're currently doing, and you said, I'm kind of becoming an influencer of sorts. Yeah. But to be truthful, what you said about your podcast in Germany and your clothing brand Parry, and what you've done with that, and you undersold yourself again for the last 5 months. You said what you've been doing is putting in the hard work behind the scenes. But what a lot of people don't realize is the success has come from the community that you've grown through the work that you've produced. And what you've been able to do is engage with that community and keep that community growing. And all essentially people want to be a part of at the end of the day is they want to be a part of a community. And that essentially is what you've been able to provide. So when you create something new, or when you provide something new, you already have that community of people to access with that.
Totally. And I'm getting daily mails of it. Like I'm producing mainly free content, not the clothing, but the podcast is for free, my Insta is for free, whatever. And you could think people take that for granted. They don't. I'm getting daily mails or DMs of people saying, just wanted to let you know, I'm thankful for that. Like I'm now consuming it for 2 years and I'm laughing once a week, and that's cool. Thank you for that. And that's also something, but it's also something I'm close to 40. So it's an age thing. I think my people are also close to 40, so they know how to say thank you at one point. It's way harder to find a 21-year-old who really says thank you and can judge already what that influence is about. But at the end, community building is for sure one of the things that kind of work, but also is because I like community. It's something like you've seen me doing the run thing and whatever. It was fun, and you like it too. So that's we didn't do that who to make them understand, whoever is watching or listening right now. We met for a run club, and it's been 50 people over here, and we made your run club together with my run club. And it was sick. It was really fun. And it was not sick because the footage was sick, because the footage was shit. And there nobody ever said, I've seen that picture. That's really great. It was cool because that hour was great, or the 2 hours were great. And that's something a lot of people forget. Like I really enjoy people coming around. And that's something, I live in Newport Beach. Germans travel to Newport Beach and they say hello. They come, I have an office over here. They can say hello. I talk with them. I like to talk with them. I really enjoy being in contact with people. I really enjoy being poured away from Shopify numbers and inventory and whatever as well. But also I really like people. And that's something I'm living off at the end. Like that's something that my invest in those people also does pay off, as stupid as it sounds. And it's not because I wanted it to be paid off, but it still does. And I can say, it's not for granted, but still it is something that my invest in the last 20 years is of worth, for sure, 100%. Yeah.
Paul, I could honestly sit here and talk with you all day about the ins and outs of what you've done and what you're currently up to, because I'm truly intrigued by you as a person and the work that you do, whatever it is. Before we wrap this up, just actually one last question before we wrap this up, because I'd love to know your answer on this. Is there somebody out there, a person, a brand, a company, whatever, that is really pushing the narrative creatively or doing great things that really inspires you?
Will Smith, in the last, his Westbrook thing he was at Formula One as well. I saw them working. I saw how they operate, and that's another thing. What we talked about on the outside, it looks, it's just Will Smith. It's easy. He has the following. He's a superstar. He's a global superstar. He just needs to go on TikTok and automatically he will have 700 million followers. And the truth is the opposite. He puts an insanely quality into the stuff. He says he selects the right guys. He gives the guys who create, like every single creator that I liked and that came across my feed and that's been inspiring to me the last 2 years, Will Smith also worked with. And he's not taking the stuff and copying it for himself. He's bringing in the person. So that's insanely impressive to me because it's a humble, very, very nice way to do that. And he's in like the way they work and the way they were. And like when he was at Formula One, it was insane how like he's one of the people everybody forgets about. Everybody wants a picture. Like even the hospital, wherever. And I was 3 days with him. So, and after 3 days, we were like in a secret room, and I kind of I filmed a video with him, and he hostaged Lewis, and it was a stupid small joke. But we were sitting there, and we were drinking a water. It was hot, Abu Dhabi, and then he said like, "So Paul, you're the only one not asking me for a selfie. Should we take a selfie?" And I'm like, "No, I'm totally cool with not taking a selfie." But that made me very, very proud, to be fair. Like, but that shows his personality, the way that he sees stuff like that. It's that truly inspire me. Or I was very, very impressed by how they work, and I'm still am. Like whatever they do, whatever they go to, if it's Instagram Reels or if all of a sudden YouTube or a podcast or whatever media they go to, they do it for real, and they do it on a such high level. So everybody thinks, yeah, it's Will Smith. No, it's his output. It's everything he does is on such a high quality. It's insane.
I love that. Great way to end it, Paul. Can you tell everybody where they can find out some more about you, your clothing brand, the podcast?
Where are the listeners coming from mainly? That's the question. So the podcast is German. That's a problem. My English podcast sucked so hard. I had to delete everything. It was horrible. One of the worst things I've ever done a year ago. So there's nothing to find there. That's good. So the German podcast is called Alle Wege führen nach Rom. So it's AWFNR and it's every platform. My Insta is Paul Ripke, PaulRipke. And and that's something I want to end it maybe with, because our friend D, he brought us together. And for example, I just called him 2 days yesterday and asked him for advice, because I'm struggling over here in the States. I brought a lot of stock of Paris over here for Germans visiting. They wanted to have clothing, and we produce in Turkey. We ship out of Germany, so very hard to bring stock over here. Then COVID hit. I have so much stock over here. I have no idea what to do with it. I can't ship it back. I can't, like, that's a very stupid decision of mine, and I don't have a solution. So I asked D, and D came around with a perfect plan, and that's something I did constantly for the last 15 years. I asked a lot of people for help, and so far, whoever I called, whoever I asked for help, and asking for help doesn't mean a shady Insta DM where you say, hey, I need blah. It needs a call. It needs maybe go to the office. It needs say hello. I need 5 minutes of your time, and I need one question, and then I'm out of here. Like, be respectful with the time of the other side. It did bring me a long way, because a lot of people helped me with that, at least, and D helped me hard. Like, he got the solution I didn't have, and now we're working on it, and that's starting tomorrow. So weareparis.com is a clothing brand. There will be big sales. D is firing out some of that stuff now, but it's here and there, and it's all on Insta. Insta is the place where you find whatever I do, but it's not that interesting. I'm not good at Insta as well in the last half year. I was quite good half a year ago, but also passion lacking. I'm not the biggest fan anymore of that. I don't like Reels. I don't like TikTok. That's not me. So I'm not touching it. I can't dance, and I can't do silly stuff. That's really not me. And I'm not sure where I'm going next. Don't know.
Well, I'll be waiting for sure, Paul, because like I said before, the work you've done has been incredible. So I know for sure whatever you produce next will be amazing as well. Paul, I can't thank you enough for your time again. I will come down to Newport and knock on your door very, very soon, and we can carry this conversation on. I'd love to do that.
I'm up for it. There's beer here. When you see this here, so do you see this here? Out of the cat. The cat is the logo.
Oh yes. There's
and here.
Draft beer. I love it.
Yeah, draft beer in Paris Clubhouse. I think it's illegal in the States, probably, right? But hey, you can come around and we can have it.
Well, you're German and I'm British, so we'll get away with it.
We can do all of that. Yeah.
Thank you
Thanks
again,
for having
Paul.
me. It's been very interesting. I talked a lot. I'm sorry for that. That's also something I tend to. If you didn't realize, in German it's called Schwallen. So that means it's like the visual is a waterfall, like I'm puking. And it's a lot of words coming out of my mouth into your face constantly, like this big amount of words firing into your face. I'm sorry.
Well, Paul, I've enjoyed it, believe me. Thank you. It's been incredible,
have a good day,
mate. You too. Take care.
Bye-bye.